remember we talked about her on Adriana's episode.
You can totally say that it's in there.
Yeah.
I
love that.
So now they'll know who Maggie is.
Yeah.
Little con.
Welcome to another episode of Romance Unleashed. My name is Mel. I'm your host. And today we have Mackenzie. I call her Mac, which is a good friend of mine, but she's also the founder of the Bad Bitch Book Club. If you're not familiar with them, Mac will tell you all about it. Welcome, Mac.
Hi, Mel. I'm so excited to be here. Mel and I have been friends for half a decade now, so it's very exciting.
That's kind of wild.
I know.
Kind of wild.
It kind of makes me emotional. It's fine though. So I run Bad Bitch Book Club. We are a giant virtual book club with over 35,000 members worldwide, but mostly in the US and Canada. We do in-person events, mostly retreats all around the country. This year we're doing 12, including a summer camp that is 3 weekends in the month of July.
Wow. And that has grown from like the first...
There was 22 people there the first year.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's
there's
amazing.
250 campers this year.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's insane for 3 nights. Yeah.
Wow.
Some may call me a deadbeat mother. And yeah, so we run and we do meetups in person all around the country. We have like hot spots in Denver, Boston, DC, Chicago, Houston, all over New York, which is where we are now. It's a really fun and fabulous virtual community that connects authors with their readers and readers with each other to find community through books, because the best people are readers, period.
I love it. I love it. Mac, how did you get started? Like, where did this idea come from?
It was an accident. I had a job. Like I was like, so I always was like a blogger, like during the WordPress blogspot days. I love to share. I've always loved sharing my opinions on the internet.
You also had like a dating something?
Oh yeah, I had a dating blog. Like anything I was doing, I was talking about on the internet. Like the government must have a thick file on me. And when I moved to New York after graduating college, at that point I'd already had my blog going for 5 years. I got a job working as an assistant for a caviar company. I thought I would work in fashion or beauty, but it turns out food paid the bills. So that's what I went into. And it was an amazing job, but a 100-year-old caviar company does not move very fast. And with minds like ours, our brains are just constantly moving. And so this is during the first Trump administration. So I was really big into disassociating at the time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It was a while ago. We've been in this mess for a minute. And so I was reading a lot, and, I had never been part of a book community before. So I thought I was the first girl in the world to ever discover the library.
That's how, when I started my Bookstagram, I was like, no one has done this. Like, revolutionary. And then I'm like, oh, everyone was already here.
You have to be delusional or else you'll never actually do anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, I'm the first girl ever to find the library. This is exciting. And I'm going to write about the books that I'm reading on my blog and then share them to my Instagram story with like a tally of how many books I've read this year, just so everyone knows that I am literate.
Obviously.
And I decided to read 50 books that year as like a personal challenge. And the following year, I had people who followed me on Instagram. I had like maybe 2,000 followers at this time, who were like, oh, I want to join in this year. So I made a little spreadsheet so we all tally how many books we read, because I didn't know Goodreads existed. Like, again, this is before Storygraph. Like, first girl to ever read.
Obviously.
So I invited a bunch of people to join in on an email list that I made just literally through Gmail, where we would vote on a book through Google Forms every month, review it, the same book on Google Form, and then talk about it in a Facebook group. And that went on from 2018 into 2020. And I remember January 1st, 2020, we hit 1,000 members. And I was like, wow, this might be the biggest book club ever formed.
Ever.
And, at that point we already had some merch. We had like t-shirts because the people who were in it were really enjoying the book picks. And we had always had really solid selections. Like our very first book pick was Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. So we got off on a really good start.
Yeah.
And then 2020 happens and the world shuts down and people wanted more space for community.
Yeah.
And so they asked for Zoom meetings with each other first. And then the appetite became kind of insatiable. And so we started offering Zoom meetings with authors and these more structured groups to read in for people who like the same genre as you. And it has just built and built since then. Bad Bitch Book Club has always really been people ask for something and then we create it. So people wanted an opportunity to meet with authors. So we reached out to some authors. People wanted a retreat so they could meet the people they had been chatting with online. So I started brainstorming ways that I could do that and, came up with our first one, which was a like cabin style retreat in Maine at an adventure resort where everyone went whitewater rafting. And everyone the first year went whitewater rafting. They don't anymore, but they did the first year.
Now they're like, were we okay?
Yeah. And, I created a Patreon that first year just because I was like spending a lot of my time and money managing this group because it was the pandemic. So it was most people's only form of a social life. Yeah. So I was like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I need to get paid. Right. And I left my job in April of 2021 and I've been doing it now for 4 years full time.
Amazing. Like I remember, I think it was end of 2019 when I joined, and I have maybe it was Anna.
I think it was Anna.
Who I went to high school and like middle school with, and she was like, I think I would always post on like my socials about like what I was reading because like obviously I was the only person ever that read, and so I was like, like here's the books that I'm reading, but like no, for real, like most of my friend group does not read, so back then anyway. Now I have like a whole other friend group who like is only readers, obviously. But anyway, I think because of that, she was like, oh, you should join this like book club I found. And I was like, oh, cool. And so like I joined, and I remember like the very early posts, it was just kind of like, yeah, like talking about like a specific group. There was no subgroups, and now there's like 100 different subgroups and 1 trillion different people. And I don't know if it is now the biggest book club, but like it might be.
It might be. I always tell publishers that we're the biggest book club and the like biggest non-celebrity run book club in the world, or at least no one's corrected me so far.
Yeah. I mean,
like sounds right.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't know. I'm also not I'm in the space, but I'm not in that space to like know if there's another one. But I feel like as much as like that does events like around the country and like meetups and like I don't.
There's a lot of people who do a lot of the things we do. They just don't do all the things we do.
Right. Or like, I don't know. I'm even thinking like some of the bookstagrammers who like have book clubs or like the influencers who are like, I just don't think that it's in this scale, which is massive.
Even people who have way more followers than us still don't have the reach book club wise.
It's wild.
It's really fun.
How did the name Bad Bitch come about?
If I could change it, like, I don't know if I would, but okay. So
I think I will say, from someone who has a name as Steamy Lit, sometimes I'm like, I wish I would have come up with something that was more, because
I know.
because you get so many hiccups on the way or so, like side, like, and I'm like, off, but also like, fuck, I should have been a little more conservative.
I know. I always think I should have been a little more conservative, but then it's like, would people have found it?
Right. Because the name
memorable.
Is right, exactly.
It's memorable. When I was in college, my girlfriends and we weren't in a sorority. We went to a city school that didn't have anything like that, and so we decided that our sorority name was Bad Bitches Inc. Just our friend group name. And so when I named the book club, I just thought it sounded good. I was like, I'm gonna start a book club. I actually texted my friend Tori, who Anna's best friend's name is Andy. Mm-hmm. Have you met Andy? Mm-mm. Basically, my best friend from college shares a mutual best friend with Anna, and that's how she found the book club so early.
Wow.
Yes.
This world is so small.
It's so small.
It's insane.
It's so small. And these are like, we're talking, you guys were the first 500 members of the book club. Mm-hmm. That's now 30,000 members. And I texted her and I'm like, I'm going to start a book club and call it Bad Bitch Book Club. I just thought it sounded good. And now I'm like, it was hard to trademark. There's like a reading accessory company that uses Bad Bitch Book Club on a lot of their stuff. And it's like trademarked, and it's so awkward because I like know I could send a cease and desist, but I just like,
send it.
That's so awkward.
No, I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, but I won't. I know bookstores who have to send one like weekly.
Really?
And it's wild to me that people don't like. research, I guess. Even if it's like, let me reach out to you and say, hey, you are like, there's a trademark, you know, I don't know. You bet you will.
Maybe I will.
That
I've been noticing it for like 2 years.
If
So maybe I will.
someone makes steamy lit stickers somewhere,
They're getting a call.
I'm calling.
That would be crazy.
And I'm gonna be like, no, it's not
No.
happening. No. Or like, depending who the business is too, like there could be a conversation of like, I allow you to use it, but like, I rightfully paid for my trademark.
Yeah,
So,
it's expensive.
very.
It's like a few I think I paid a couple $1,000s.
Yeah. And like, it's for every class. Like every class is a different, like, it's extra couple hundred or whatever. So like, it's an investment on your brand. So
It is. So that I could tell people to stop. But
Right.
and yeah, I'm just such a wimp. Maybe I will though.
Yeah.
Because they're getting big.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on from trademarks. Okay, so how did the first event come up? Like, where did you think, okay, and like readers want to meet each other, so let me do this.
Yeah. So
And like, will it not be batshit?
yeah. So our first retreat, which was the one in Maine, came about because Mel Suko, who runs our LGBTQ group, asked me if we could do it. And I would never say no to her. So I found a way to do it. I chose the adventure resort we did it at because I used to go there occasionally as like a kid, whitewater rafting. Because that was randomly the only vacation we ever did was whitewater rafting as a kid. I'm from New England. It's
Extreme.
like right there. It's in Maine. I know it is kind of extreme. It's really cheap though.
Yeah, because like you may
And
or may
3
not have your
kids.
life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. We're staying in like kind of, we're staying in cabins. It's the reason why I call it summer camp. Then people are like pleasantly surprised it's like glamping. So that was the first one I did. But the way that I come up with the ideas for the retreats is I decide places I've either always wanted to go, and then plan like a dream trip around it. Like the concept is, where would you go on a mostly girls trip? With your best friends, if you could convince everyone to get the sickest Airbnb and go to all the best restaurants and like go on all the silly little tourist excursions without having to like negotiate with your friends.
Yeah.
Like you just sign on to something like that. So the first one we did was in Nashville. I actually didn't like Nashville. It was too bachelorette-y, and the retreat itself was like fun, but could have done better. And I feel like every retreat we get better and better. So this year we did one already in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
I meant to comment, but it, probably escaped my mind. The state of New Mexico, I just love in general. Their food is amazing. I feel like not enough people are saying I need to go to New Mexico, but you really should.
You
like
really should.
Arizona, like New Mexico is a blast. I've gone a few times and I've loved it. Never to Santa Fe, but when I saw that you guys went there, I'm like, that's such a fucking great choice.
Thank you. I have a never ending bucket list that I am just like adjusting and adding to. Like I always like list out all the states and like I'm like looking up online, like where's the cutest place to go to in Alabama? Where's the cutest place to go to in Arkansas? Like because we try to visit every region of the country once a year,
Okay.
or at least every other year. I'm like really bad at visiting the Midwest. I'm like, I'll get to you guys sometime. I'm like, no offense to the Midwest, but I try to visit every region as often as possible. We did the Willamette Valley in Oregon this past October. We did one in the Catskills in New York. It was a sleepover themed trip, and we did it right in January, right after the inauguration. And we had a strict no doom scrolling policy. And we did like vision boarding and like manifestation and a hot yoga class, and it was like really cathartic and peaceful for people. And we're staying in a sick house with a hot tub and a sauna.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really just a matter of like, and we're going to St. Augustine at the end of this month. I loved St. Augustine. I went there for a wedding a couple of years ago, and I'm like, I always wanted to go back. So I got us a beach house front, like everyone can see the ocean from their bedroom window.
I love it.
Does it have live, laugh, love signs literally everywhere?
Probably.
And like, God bless this house. Yes.
But
Can
it's
you
fine.
see? That's fine. God did bless this house.
Yeah.
It's oceanfront. So yeah. But then as far as like our events go, we do a holiday extravaganza every year. We're doing a romance on the dance floor event tonight. And the idea behind that is, being a perfectionist, how can I give someone the best night of their life? drag queens, karaoke, dance party, no boys, sexy outfits, drinks, you know?
I love
Home
it.
by midnight.
I love it. And you know what? Like, that's something that I feel like from Steamy LitCon is something we always get complimented on, how safe the party feels. Like, people can go out there, shake their ass, and everyone feels so safe. And I feel like, one, it sucks that, like, this is where society is. Like, where we can't have other safe spaces. But, like, I think an event like that always, like, gives your hope back to, like, life can be good.
Yes, life can be good. Fun is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the world is really scary and like things are very bleak, but we're still here on this dance floor right now, like shaking our asses to Jason Derulo. And that's real too.
That is real too. Okay, what have you been... Do I want to ask what have you been reading lately yet? Not yet. Later. Okay, so events. What is coming up this year that, aside from St. Augustine, that you haven't done before?
That we haven't done before. Oh. So this year, after St. Augustine, we have our summer camp. And then...
Is summer camp sold out?
We have like 2 spots left.
Okay. So if you're listening to this, there might not be spots left, but maybe there's 2.
There might be. Yeah, you'll have to hop on the wait list because we have a couple people to email, but like there's a very good chance you could attend if you wanted to. Then we have a mini camp in Wisconsin. It's in Door County. We have 25 people attending that. That's Midwest. I had to visit. I haven't been since 2022. Okay. They were like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Sorry, I'll get there." And then we're doing a traders retreat. Do you watch the Traders?
No, but I've heard about it.
It's like a murder mystery game that plays on TV. I think it's on Paramount, but it's basically all these like reality TV stars compete against each other in like a murder mystery. It's crazy. It's really fun. People love it. And it takes place in a castle in Scotland. So I found a haunted mansion.
Of course you did.
The Could Sleep 20.
Where?
In Western Massachusetts. And there are spots available for that if you're interested in competing. And there is like $1,000 cash prize. So like it's gonna be real. There's an indoor pool in there, so we can do like the competitions and stuff.
The Thriller girlies need to show up for this.
They are. Oh, that's another thing I'm doing for Thriller Fest, which is coming up in
what is a Thriller
June.
Fest?
Thriller Fest is like a thriller convention that happens in New York. It's happening in June. Brittany from Lavender PR, who mostly does romance actually. She and I are hosting a murder mystery dinner party at a speakeasy here, where you can do a murder mystery party with some of your favorite thriller authors. That's happening in June.
Fantastic.
It's sick. And then I'm working with Adriana, Sarah McLean, and Joanna Shoup to do a historical romance retreat in the Berkshires this November.
Oh my
and those
God.
applications open up mid-May. And we're staying in a amazing, oh my gosh, what's that? 1800s. Gilded Age. We're staying in an amazing Gilded Age mansion that's been like amazingly restored. We're going to go to the Edith Wharton house. Adriana like loves the Mount, so she's like, "No, we're doing a tour there. It's gonna be lit." We're gonna have a big tea party. It's gonna be so unbelievable.
Are people gonna like dress like?
No.
Okay.
That was actually Sarah McLean's one request because she joined in because we were all having drinks at the New York Public Library, and it was really only supposed to be Joanna and Adriana and me. And Sarah McLean got jealous and invited herself, and I was like, "Great, you're a great sell, no problem. You're definitely invited." But she said her one thing was she does not like historical romance retreats where people dress up because it gets weird, and so no costumes allowed.
Okay.
I think that seems fair.
Yeah. But I also think like people like a good like Bridgerton like
Bridgerton's
dress
fine.
Up. Okay.
Bridgerton's fine.
I guess what other like dress up?
Well, it's like cocktail party, but like don't go like antebellum. You never know. You never know what people are gonna turn up in.
Yeah,
but a little Bridgerton
Yeah.
cocktail party is cute.
Yeah, a little dress code has never hurt anybody.
I love a dress code.
I know you do. I know you do.
But Sarah McLean said no.
Have you ever thought of doing something overseas?
I have. It seems like a lot of work, but I have places that I would do if like I could do France, I could do Italy, and I could do Portugal, I think. Those are all places I've been to enough times that I'd feel comfortable running a retreat there. But international retreats, it's like that's someone's like potentially like their one big trip for the year. And I would want it to be so perfect that I think I would like kill myself trying to make it everything that they could ever dream of, especially since it would likely be a lot of people's first time whipping out their passport. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, if you ever do Italy, I'm coming.
Okay, let's just go to Italy.
We should just go to Italy.
You're on the East Coast now. It's easier.
Yeah, we deserve it.
Yeah, we really do.
Last time we saw each other, we were on the beach in San Diego, and we were crying about so many things.
So there was a lot to cry about in 2022.
There were so many things happening.
Yeah, you were about to get a divorce. I was about to divorce my business partner.
No, you already had.
Yeah.
You already had.
Yeah, I was already mid-divorce.
Yeah.
You weren't quite there yet.
It had just happened.
Things were bad.
Yeah, things were not great. And now, like you said,
everyone's happy. Now I have my son. Happy. I'm back in New York, and you're in love, and you're back in Florida.
Yeah, I didn't have that on my bingo card at all. But
no, you really definitely couldn't have predicted that.
No, never. Like, could have not dragged me back to Florida. Like a crocodile would have had to like drag me back.
Seems like they did.
And they did. No, they really did. Many crocodiles dragged me back. How has your people don't talk enough about this, but monetizing your hobby.
Yeah.
How has that changed reading for you?
A lot. So the thing is like there was like kind of a moment where, and this is actually what Mel's kind of referring to in 2022, where I had left a really like a pretty high paying marketing job to make this book club my full-time job. And I did it out of like, you know, like I said, it's kind of a call and receive with Bad Bitch Book Club. And there was a need for me to, be there, like my time and my presence and like my energy towards continuing to build this community. My business partner at the time had really led with like activism, and so there was kind of this like insinuation that it would be like a nonprofit kind of thing. And I am just like not a nonprofit girl. Like I volunteer my time. I'm on the board of the Young Lions for the New York Public Library, which is their young members. Like I donate to a lot of art museums in the city. Like I am an activist in my personal life, but I never set out to start a nonprofit. And so I was like, you know, if I'm going to do this, I need to be able to make money from it. I deserve to be paid for my time, just like I pay everybody for their time. Right. I deserve to pay myself, and I need to be able to make a living wage, especially with my kids. So for a long time, I had a really hard time paying myself anything. And then when I had my son, I was like, girl, because I was breaking even on these retreats. I was basically paying for myself just to travel. And then when I had Sebastian, I'm like, if I'm going to be doing this, I need to be compensated a fair amount to leave my kid. Like at the time, the first time I left him, he was 5 months old to go and do one of these retreats to New Orleans. So now I have a much easier time compensating it. That said, I have a stack of books I really want to read that are just like not on the Bad Bitch Book Club radar. And I have to prioritize Bad Bitch Book Club books. I'm currently reading this book called The Dream Hotel. And it's a dystopian novel about a mom who gets arrested for like having dreams about hurting her husband. And I'm like, fuck. Like this is gonna ruin my life. Like this book is I'm gonna be thinking about this book for years to come, and like the surveillance state, and it's gonna be horrible, but I have to finish it. I have to read it, when I like would really rather be reading the new Denise Williams romance novel about the donut shop.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be reading right now, but I have to read instead this like dreadful Pulitzer Prize finalist that's ruining my life. So there's pros and cons, but generally, like I recognize, and I'm sure you think about this ever, like how lucky I am to be doing something that I love every single day. Yeah. Like what I do matters. I'm getting people to read more books. I'm helping people build community, and like that really matters. And so generally I am just really grateful and fulfilled.
Yeah. I don't think I've gotten to that stage of my life yet. Like I'm still in a like obviously it matters, but like I haven't gotten to a place where I'm like, yeah, what I do is making change. Like I have like, there's still a like, if I'm sitting down for an hour to read, I'm like, I need to be doing something else. Like this is not what I should be doing, which is not true because I need to for like the many things I do.
That's hard.
But there's like a guilt attached to it because I think we've just been taught that like labor is supposed to look like one specific thing. And wrapping my head around that is a little hard sometimes.
Yes, I really relate to that as well. Like sometimes I'll be sitting and reading and I'm like, shouldn't I be working? And I'm like, this is actually your work.
Yeah.
Which is like crazy to think.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah.
It's really important that you read.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting to me that you don't think of what you do as like making a difference in the world. And I think that just speaks to the standard that you hold yourself to, an impossible one, because what you do matters like so much and to so many people.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people you've connected, the amount of authors that you've put on people's radar.
Yeah.
Like you've given people joy and hope and community in a time where everybody's lacking that.
Yeah.
Like what you do matters arguably more than almost anything.
Oh, thank you.
I love you.
Yeah, I think I'm just so caught up in like the day to day sometimes that it's hard to like, and like I have like people who text me sometimes after like a good thing has happened and they're like, did you sit with it? And I'm like, no,
Of course not.
I've moved on to the next thing. Mostly because there's like need to like, okay, great. But like there's still so much to do. Like there's still so many other things. There's still so many issues with publishing. Like there's so many issues in the book world that we still need to next thing. Like what are we doing next?
Yeah. And just when it seems like it's getting better, it gets worse again. And,
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially right now. Yeah. Okay, and so with that being said, what have you read lately that you've absolutely like for you, not for Bad Bitch Book Club?
For me, myself, obviously I loved the last book in the Skyland series. Can't get enough by Kennedy Ryan. I did not have to read that for Bad Bitch Book Club. She's definitely my favorite author without question. I think she's just such a wonderful person, but in my opinion, she is like the greatest person in romance. Like I am a fan of a lot of authors, but to me, she's the best. To me, she's the standard. That's actually not even fair because that would be the impossible standard. So I loved Can't Get Enough. I would definitely recommend that. I'm currently reading Disappoint Me by Nicola Deenan, who's a trans author. And it's
Does she have a book that came out?
It's called Bellies. Yeah, her last book.
I'm thinking of something else then. There was a pink cover.
This one has pink letters.
No.
But this is about a trans girl who's like dating. It's one of those books where like nothing's happening and yet everything's happening. She's a lawyer that like also loves poetry. It's very funny, very bitchy, which is like that's my
what speaks to your soul.
What speaks to me, like bitches. I love bitches. That's why I name my book club the Bad Bitch Book Club. But a book I recently read for the book club that I loved was Homeseeking by Carissa Chen.
Okay.
I'd recommend it for fans of The Stationery Shop.
The Stationery Shop.
It is a stationery shop. Like, yeah, early Bad Bitch Book Club mention. That's by the author of The Lion Woman of Tehran, if you've seen that around. But
have you read that one?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's not as good. Nothing's gonna be as good as The Stationery Shop.
The Stationery Shop was.
It's elite. It's a 6-star book. Like you can't. No one's writing 2 6-star books in a row. That just doesn't happen.
It really is.
Right.
It's phenomenal.
Like it's perfect. So Homeseeking is about childhood lovers over the course of 60 years being separated by war in Shanghai, and it takes place in Shanghai, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and the United States. It's funny, it's sexy, but also it's just like really. There's a lot of yearning. It's kind of heart-wrenching. I strongly recommend it. It's long, but the audiobook's good, and it's not a slog. It's called Homeseeking by Carissa Chen.
I need that right now. I need that injected.
It's really good. And I interviewed her the other day, and she's a hottie. She's cool. And she said that this is the only historical fiction book she'll ever write because it took her so long. So hope we like it because she's writing different things next.
There's so much research. I mean, even Adriana's series, her Leona series, she did so much research during that time.
She was at the Library of Paris.
Yeah,
she speaks French, so she can just do that.
Does she?
Yeah, she speaks 4 languages.
I had no idea.
Yeah, she speaks French. So she's reading French documents.
Of course she is.
For the Leonas. And that's why it's so historically accurate because she was able to access information that the average person wouldn't be able to find in English. She's something.
And then she talks about us. Like,
I know. I'm a stan. I'm a stan.
And you're over here.
She held my baby. I was like, Sebastian, you don't even know how big this is.
You know. How has motherhood been?
So I always,
because it was
is
not
this
in
a
the
safe space?
Yeah, and it was not in the cards.
No, it wasn't. I had a surprise baby. But I was like 50-50. So like having a surprise baby, I was like, oh, thank God Jesus took the wheel and I didn't have to make a decision for myself. So I didn't have childcare for a first year and a half because childcare in New York is so expensive. It's like $3,000 a month, which is
God.
like who has that?
Yeah.
Like literally not middle class people and definitely not poor folks. So at first it was really, really, really hard. But I think because I had no expectations of it, I have been like surprised and delighted by motherhood in a lot of ways.
Oh, I love that.
Like I didn't have any anticipation of what kind of mom that I was going to be. And so I really like the mom that I am. Like my goal is just for my son to, you know, obviously know that he's loved and taken care of, but I'm in charge of like making sure that life is like fun and enjoyable for him. And so I'm always taking him to do fun stuff and I'm just excited for like the future together. But, you know, I mean, they're crazy. For 2 weeks, he's like 20 months now. So he's like quickly approaching 2. But for 2 weeks, he'd only eat peanut butter crackers. What the fuck are you supposed to do about that?
Right.
Like, you can't force feed your kids. They're like,
Right. Like,
meh, meh.
Right.
So I just like let him eat peanut butter crackers. So he didn't starve to death. So he couldn't shit for 2 weeks.
Yeah, he was
so
constipated.
so full of peanut butter.
Oh my God.
But it's all they wanted to eat. And like luckily he's out of it now. But that was crazy. So you know, there's moments like that, but also like he's just the sweetest, smiliest guy, and we just got childcare like 3 months ago, and since that happened, I feel like my life has improved drastically. My relationship has improved drastically. You know, I have an awesome husband. He's always been a great husband, but when you're both splitting childcare responsibilities while also working, while also trying to work out, while also trying to be like social people, you know, you're taking from each other's
and then be present in your relationship.
Oh my gosh.
Like, how do you do it all?
How do you like literally can't.
Right.
And you're just taking, you know, anything it's like a constant game of tug of war. And now that we have a part-time nanny, I mean, she's 30 hours a week, so she's basically full-time.
Yeah.
Our life is like so much better. We get along so much better. Our son is happy and fulfilled. He goes to the library with her every day.
Oh, I love it.
But I love it. I love being a mom. One and done, baby, though. Yeah, that's it. That's my kid. Me and Sebastian, best friends for life.
I love what you said about like not having expectations of like what you would be as a mother, because I feel like if I ever had kids, I would be the same way. Like and I think part of that is because I've never been the type to like contemplate on like, what is my wedding supposed to be like? What is like, that's never, and like children are a part of that. Like I've never really had a thought other than like, I'm probably going to be a soccer mom with a more upscale minivan, but like I could see that in my future for sure. But like, aside from that, like I have never thought about like how I would be as a mom. So I think it's like nice to hear that even though it wasn't something that you planned, like you just took it day by day and you figured it out.
Yeah, we did. And when we lived in, you know, we were living in a tiny, tiny, tiny apartment, which was awful. But I would take him to art museums every day in his stroller to give him something to look at. And through the library, I'm such a library. I've mentioned library like 80 times on this podcast. Through the library,
because they're trying to fucking defund them.
Yeah, we love libraries. I as the first ever girl to discover the library, I definitely talk like I'm the first person to ever discover this program through the library, though, which is called Culture Pass. I think I am the first person to discover it because even I'm on the board for the young members of the library, and I'm always telling them that this is something we need to be doing awareness about. And I'm like, we need to talk about Culture Pass. They're like, what's that? I'm like, it's a program where you can visit every museum in New York City once a year for free as part of your library pass. Like, how do you not know this?
Wow.
But I did that with Sebastian. So we went to 19 museums his first year of life because I just needed to do something.
Yeah.
I needed to be a person.
Right.
And he was just like, now he has, unfortunately, opinions. So he's not as into it, but that's what we did.
How has Ben been for all of this?
Oh, he's like the best dad in the world. We're like 60-40. He's 60, I'm 40. He's the primary parent for sure.
I love that for him.
Yeah, he wouldn't appreciate me saying that because he's like, no, you be primary parent too. But he's the primary parent. He's Like, he's so much better at remembering things. He makes all the doctor's appointments. He's like physically there like every single night putting him to bed. Like, all of his plans are usually after 7 p.m., which is bedtime. Mine are usually before that. So like I'm home like 4 nights a week to do that. He's home like 6 or 7 nights a week to do that. And then he goes out with his boys to have a drink around the corner or whatever sometimes.
But it's a good balance because your events are earlier, his are later, so you can still have somewhat of a social life.
I have such a social life. I'm great. But the thing about him that like I love and I think was really important, he was raised by a single mom. So he has like a lot of respect for women. And two, before we had a kid and we had discussed like maybe having a kid someday, I said I'm only having a kid if we truly split everything 50-50. And that is the only way I would even consider reproducing with you. And he was like, yeah, that's not going to be a problem. Because I'm busy. I'm a businesswoman.
Well, and I think me and Adriana were talking about this too on the episode where we talked about you actually. But
I just go back and listen.
Yeah, we're just like going back and forth.
Talking shit.
We should just invited her to this conversation. But like how important it is to have a partner that's like supportive of what you do in like all of the things. Because otherwise, like, especially with the type of people that we are and like how like we have all these ideas and these things that we want to do and it's like immediate action, like it's happening, to have someone who's like supportive of that is, I think, of the
critical
of the most important.
You can't do it all by yourself. And you can't be with someone who the person that you're with really needs to like accept your dreams as like their own too, like, and that's their dream for you, and they're going to be willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen for you. Like, I love that. Setting up your store.
Yeah, so what I was about to mention
manual
was that
labor.
When I was like leaving for LA Times this past weekend, I was like I'm just not, like, I just want to stay home. Like, I don't. And he's like, it's for our future kids. Like, go. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go sell my ass off now. Yes. So
I think you'd be a great mom.
Thank you. I think I'm the good dog mom, so I feel like
you're very loving. You have room in your heart for 3 dogs. You definitely have room in your heart for like a singular child for sure.
God, no, 3 dogs are killing me.
That was a bit crazy of you.
That was the wildest decision. It was definitely a like post-divorce, like, I'm doing this because I was told I couldn't do it, so I'm gonna do it now. And boy, did that bite me in the ass.
You dog mom too close to the sun.
Too fucking close to the sun. Like, unwell. Love little Saguita to death. But my God, she is the most rambunctious little dog. Yeah, and she's not little. She's like 100 pounds of just dog on top of you. She's wild, and I don't know what I did there.
No one's breaking into your house.
You know, that's the thing too. Like, I don't know that they would do anything, to be honest with you. Because actually, my scariest dog, and by scariest I mean like she's scared of her shadow, I think would be the one who makes the most fuss about it, because she like sees someone she doesn't recognize.
Someone do something.
And she's like, there's someone here. Where like Grizzly and Saga might just like bring them a ball and greet them. Like, person, hi.
Welcome.
What else, Mac? What else is in store for you?
What else is in store? If I take on one more thing, I think my therapist might stop working with me.
I think me and my therapist are like right there too. She's like, she was like, after StimulaCon, the first year, you were supposed to take a break.
Oh, were
and
you?
Instead, you opened the store. And I was like, what?
The haters are everywhere.
What are you talking about? And then I was like, all right, I'll take a break. And then I opened Tampa. And she was like, what are you running from? And I'm like, me? I don't know. What am I running from? Tell me. So I don't know. I just think, you know what? I saw something Katie Roberts said the other day.
A brilliant follow on Threads, by the way. Love her.
She's fantastic. And she said something like, my work, because I think she had like threaded something about like how much she was writing or something. And people were basically telling her like, you need to take time to rest. Like, you need to take a pause, blah, 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 whatever. And she followed it up with like, my work fuels me. It doesn't drain me. And
love.
I think something I want to be better about though is like, I'm like, ooh, new idea. Great. Love it. Love it. Once it's executed, I'm like, okay, next. Instead of like, still like, how do I like still love on this? Like obviously I love on it, but not how I did when it was like a brilliant, shiny idea. Like, but a new, like, I'm like, oh, that energizes me. It doesn't drain me until now I have 100 things happening at the same time. And now I'm just like
Overwhelmed
drained
because you're
altogether.
just dreading everything. Yeah, I get the same way.
Yeah. But when she said that, I was like, fascinating. And I think it was Hoodie who like had come down to visit me. And she was like, when are you going to take a day off? Like you've worked the whole week. And I was like, what do you mean? What's a day off? But I will say that I think post-divorce, it was kind of what I needed. Like I needed something to like help me fuel that like energy or whatever, all those lingering feelings into something that like was new and I wanted to pour my love into. I think I really needed that. And I think now in my new relationship, I think what's been really nice is that it's forcing me to take a pause. Like,
yeah, you have to or else you can't enjoy each other.
Yeah. Like it's forcing me to like, I'm not working today, or like I'm not working over the weekend, or like these are boundaries, because prior to that I was like everything was work and everything revolved around work. And I could feel the beginnings of burnout. Like I'm gonna get to a point where like I'm gonna tap out. So I think that this came in my life at a point where I was like, it's needed, because it's what's making me like, there's someone else who now wants my time and attention, and it's making me take a step away from like, otherwise I'm on all day.
That's basically having a kid for me, right? Like my son, he wants to be with me. Like he notices when I'm not paying attention to him. And so when I don't have our nanny and when I have free time, like I can't be like, if he's up, I can't be working on a Saturday. Yeah. Unless I'm like away on a retreat, like I need to be playing with his little blocks with him. Yeah. Like we make towers and that like that's what I do. But yeah, it can be really hard not to just be constantly working. My work fuels me for the most part too. And I think like you were saying, yours does as well. But I do try. I think at this point, like 4 years into working for myself, I also know what outside of work rejuvenates me that I still feel productive in, which I know feels so stupid. Why do I'm like late stage capitalism embodied, but like I go to a lot of plays and the like shows in New York for fun. I go with my best friend who I've been friends with since 6th grade. And we like used to do theater together in middle school, and now we go to Broadway shows together like all the time. So that fuels me. I love art, so I like walking around museums just to clear my head. That fuels me. But of course I do it while listening to an audiobook because you can't not be working. I have some things I need to work on myself, but generally I feel fueled by my work. And I think that as my son gets older, I'm going to have to take more time to pause. So for now, it's important, I think, to set myself up in a spot financially and business wise that I can be like a really present parent for him when he needs like my stimulation.
Yeah. What would be your advice for someone who is thinking about starting their own, I want to say business, but I feel like that's too general. So I guess something in the bookish space or something maybe that's like monetizing their hobby. What would be like your biggest takeaway from everything you've done?
I think that there is room for everybody in the space. I think like giving people an opportunity to gather, whether it's virtually or in person, and like form community is always needed. I think that remembering to decenter yourself is the most important thing. Like center yourself in your own life, but as far as your business goes, you know, you really need to think about like your customer and your community members first, and like what serves them. And like I think one of the biggest mistakes that influencers make when they start book clubs is it's like they call it the Mackenzie Newcomb Book Club. And then anyone that joins is joining Mackenzie Newcomb's book club. With something like Bad Bitch Book Club, I want people to refer to it as their book club. So they're saying, I'm going on a retreat with my book club this weekend. Like my book club is going to a sports event together. Like my book club is going to meet at this brunch spot to discuss this book. Like, it belongs to them just as much as it does for you. So if you're interested in getting specifically in our space, I think that decentering yourself is the only way to actually be successful at it. But if you're looking to, talk about books online or get into like an influencer space in any capacity, I would just say, like, never make money your sole focus. Like, it has to be about sharing what you love, because if you're gonna be waiting a very long time before you break even and like make a check. Like,
hard agree.
You got to do it out of the love of just like communicating with others, sharing what you love, and like being part of an online community. Otherwise, it's not worth doing.
Hard agree. And I think to follow up on that, I would also say kind of what you've talked about earlier, like, but also don't forget that you deserve to get paid for your time.
You have to.
And that doesn't,
please tell yourself that. Write it on your mirror.
Right. And like that might not come right away.
Yes.
But there's only so much that you can do for free.
Don't exploit yourself.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people, because they go into it with like a community first, there's also some guilt attached to it. Like, how do I make money off of this? But you have to. You have to. And I have this conversation frequently with people who are afraid to put a price on, what they're worth. And I always say, like, I always tip myself 20%. So anytime I'm planning an event, like, I make sure that I'm making 20% profit off of it, because that's what, I get that number just because that's what you tip a hairdresser or a server. Like, I always make 20% off of all my events. And if someone has a problem with that, they're probably someone who wouldn't tip at a restaurant. Like, I deserve to be paid for my labor. We're like all Democrats here. Like, it's, that's the reasonable thing. But it can be hard to do, especially in the book space where we're trying to make it accessible. We're trying to be activists in our own life. But that's why I have a little book club at my apartment with my friends. Yeah. We have a walking distance book club, and I host that. That's where I can be self-sacrificing. That's where I'm buying, telling people to bring a bottle of wine, and I'm making all the appetizers myself, and I'm hosting people. But that's me as a host. That's for leisure. That's for fun. Right. That's different than starting a business. Like, I don't think you should have people pay to attend your in-person book club at your house. Like, but you should if you're starting it for strangers, know? Right. You said something else, decentering yourself. How did you go from, because when you started the book club, it was centered around you. How did you go about decentering yourself?
Yeah, so I had to. I think it really came about in 2022. There was... In 2020, we did kind of an inventory of what our book selections had looked like in the past, because everyone was, right? Like, every company, organization, et cetera, was having a reckoning in 2020 with the Black Lives Matter movement. And we looked at our book inventory, and we had already at that point had 50% BIPOC authors. So we were like, all right, we're doing okay as far as this space goes. It's looking good. But in an effort to preserve that for the next 2 years, I picked all the books. And so the books were exclusively like my taste. And by 2022, people were like, they did not feel like it was part of a community. They felt like they were just reading books that I was picking, because they were. That's literally what was happening. Right. I maybe was accepting suggestions, but I was definitely picking them. Right. And so in 2022, we made Bad Bitch Book Club a democracy. So I give people 20 options. It's like a democracy, like the United States is a democracy. It's like, I mean, I switch some stuff up sometimes, but I give people 20 options for 2 or 3 months total. We pick books in advance. And of that, we pick 4 books. So they vote on the top 6 books. And of the top 6, I'll curate 4 picks that make sense. And the reason why we don't just pick the top 4 is because, 2 could be identical genres or really similar themes. And I want to make sure that we're reading diversely. And that doesn't mean just any BIPOC author will do. Any queer author will do. It's like, I want to make sure we're reading a book by a trans author at some point. Like, I want to make sure that we're reading books by Indigenous authors. Another thing we did is we stopped reading for affinity months. Okay. So like, at one point, every single book that would have been an option for people to read in the month of February would have been by a Black author. Right. And we said, you know what authors hate and talk about all the time? Only getting invited to talk about their book during their set Affinity Month. Asian authors hate being asked to talk about their books in the month of May.
Right.
Black authors hate being asked to talk about their books in February. So we're like, this is very clearly a pattern. So let's just make sure we're reading diversely year round. So that's another thing that I think helps a lot. And then when it comes to our social media, you don't see my name linked anywhere. You can find me if you look through the about page of our website, but I'm only on our social media if I run a New York event and I'm doing a recap of the New York event because I'm the New York event leader. But there's event leaders all around the country who you'll see just as frequently on our social media that you see me.
I love that.
Maybe I'm on there like a little more, but it's not me. I'm not front facing. I don't come on like Reese Witherspoon and present the book pick for the month.
Right.
And we have a lot of other people who are community leaders within the book club. So I think that the biggest thing is just like making sure that my face is not the only face we're seeing online, because it goes against, what we are aiming for within the book club, which is that people will see it as their own.
Yeah. And I think after the first couple of years, I would say probably in the last year, that's something that I've been focused on to the point where like I don't even want to be part of like any of our reels or TikToks or anything, because I felt like when we were having like book clubs or anything like that at the store, there was a lot of like, I'm coming for you. Like, I'm not coming for the store. I'm coming to like be in community with you, which I love. It's an honor. Great. But it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Because then if I don't come, is no one going to show up? Right. And you can't build a business on my participation.
100%.
You like, it has to be its own standing thing. And I think that's been really hard to pivot from, I don't know if from like a community aspect, like for me, it's been more than fine. Like, I'm like, please, I don't want to feel forced to go to things, because then it feels like, one, I don't have days off because I'm always on. I don't have a chance to be off. But then also like, how does the brand hold on its own if I'm not here?
Exactly.
And so that's been like really big for us in the past like year, in trying to like, I am not at everything. I cannot be the face anymore. Aside from like, when things go south, like
yeah,
bad shit. But like really focusing on what like how the brand stands on its own.
Yeah, it's so important. Yeah. I always joke. So I do most of my retreats with my friend Kaylin, who she has better taste than me, so she's perfect to do them with. She makes all the best restaurant reservations and all that, and she does the itineraries. But we always have a joke that there's always someone on the retreat that befriends the tour guide. And like hangs out exclusively with us, which is totally fine. We love them. We review all the applications, so we know who we're about to hang out with. But the real hope is that people will find community with other people in the like event. So your hope is that at these book clubs at your stores, that people will make a friend, but that friend can't be you.
Right.
And it's not that you're not flattered or you wouldn't want to be their friend in another world. Right. It's just my capacity, I don't have any.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. Like I
can't have a new friend to go to brunch with.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. I bet I'd love you.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
You're here to meet other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think and I think removing the guilt from that, I think is really important, because for the first like few months, I was like, I feel horrible. Or like people would message me and be like, I'm coming to book club tonight. And I'm like, I'm not.
I can't read every book.
And I think that like for a little bit took a toll on me, because I was like, but then I had to like think about it. Like, then where does the brand stand if I'm not here? And that needs to be built on its own. And they need to want to come to book club to be in community together, and not because I'm there. And so I think we're slowly getting there. It's just been an adjustment, because for so long, especially when you're starting a small business, like, you don't have people who are working under you. You are on your own.
You have to pay them. So, and you don't always have money.
Right. So like you have to kind of be the face until something changes where you can decenter yourself. And I think it's really important for brands to be able to do that.
Yes. And it makes it so much easier when you have amazing people, like spokespeople. Like we have, these two women, Brittany and Jordan, have run the romance challenge for the last 3 years, and they're expected to be there. I'm not expected to be there, and they do an amazing job. Romer, Maggie, and Ariana have been doing a thriller group for 5 years.
Wild.
Like we have people who and then
Kat and Jess have been doing fantasy.
Kate and Jess have been doing fantasy for years. They're expected. They're staples in the book club, and I trust them with everything. And so I know that it'll be okay. And that's how I was able to take 6-month maternity leave. Because I knew I had people I could trust.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you're doing that for yourself, because it makes life so much easier. You can't be how? Because then you have to read the book, write the questions, show up, be cute and adorable, have on a good outfit, and never see your boyfriend.
Never. 2 last questions. 1, as a white woman, what would be your advice for other white women in the space who are trying to make strides in diversifying publishing?
So buy BIPOC books. Rent white books from the library. No, but in all seriousness, like when you're talking about books online, don't I'm trying to come up with the right way to say this. Don't separate books based on like racial identity, right? So be like, if you're coming on and giving romance recommendations, be like, here's 5 romance books that I love. First of all, make sure 3 of them are by non-white authors. Always aim for more than half of your recommendations being by non-white authors, and just talk about what you love, but like make sure that when you're reading, you are prioritizing BIPOC books, right? Because if you're reading books by non-white authors, you're gonna love books by non-white authors, and the enthusiasm's gonna come naturally.
Right.
The enthusiasm's going to come naturally. And so just making sure that like at least 50% of the books that you are reading and more than 50% of the books you are purchasing are by non-white authors, being an ally will come naturally. And then don't expect a pat on the back. Like don't expect anyone to be like, you're doing such a good job, sweetie.
Yeah.
Like you're reading so diversely, you're killing it. Like just do it, because like non-white authors have to work way harder to get published anyways. So like you're going to like these books. They're going to be great books. People are going to love your recommendations. Like, so it's not exactly like you're doing anything special. You're just reading good books. Like you're not doing anything. So you don't deserve to be
like
complimented
you don't need
for
a trophy.
that. You don't need a trophy. That's like stupid. But I think reading diversely is just like a better way to live anyways. But that's how I tend to frame my book recommendations, is I'm just giving book recommendations. They just happen to be by primarily non-white authors. Right. So that's one thing. And then if you want to do something like I'm doing, again, decenter yourself. And don't expect people to treat you like a safe space right away. Like don't wear your little blue bracelet like I voted for Kamala. Like, don't expect people to trust you, because there are so many reasons why people are going to lean on the side of not trusting you, not believing you just because you're a white woman, and you just have to deal with that because your ancestors fucked you over. like your fellow white ladies have not helped you out with that.
Yeah.
But that's just the reality, and like you don't expect to be soothed, don't expect to be congratulated, just read diverse books.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have really very little patience for my fellow white ladies, but I also don't talk shit about them publicly, because people are gonna be like, look in the mirror.
Yeah.
You've been to 4 Taylor Swift tours.
Fair.
Did I answer the question?
I think so.
Okay. But as far as publishing goes, I mean, that's where the money. Put your money where your mouth is. Like. Right. Talk like publicists are not getting as much money or like time to work on books by non-white authors. Be their give that extra publicity for fun. If you're being asked by a publisher to speak on a panel, ask who else is on the panel. There's lots of little things you can do, and a lot of it, some of it is going to be trial and error. But if you're even thinking about the question, then you're on the right path.
Yeah, and I guess just in general, right? Like you have cultivated like such a platform, and you're intentional about that platform. And I guess like making sure, or I guess like the question was aimed at like use your platform. Like use your platform, but in the same vein, kind of what you said, if you're already reading diversely, it's going to come naturally to you.
Yeah.
So I guess like the main takeaway from that is like read diversely.
Read diversely. And if you're having a hard time with that, like here's a couple tips I'll give you that you don't have to ask ChatGPT. So we'll save a water bottle. If you are reading a physical book by a white author, make sure your audiobook is by an author of color. Like do an inventory at the end of the month. Like, you don't post it on your Instagram story, but like do an inventory by looking through your Storygraph account and be like, okay, what are some patterns in my reading? like 2 years ago, I realized I was reading like no queer books, which is like so unusual for me. Most years I read like tons of queer books. But the following year, I just made it an effort to read more queer books. You know, at one point we had never had a book of the month by an Indigenous author through the Bad Bitch Book Club. So now I make sure we have at least one a year. Last year we had 2. So just constantly doing inventory with yourself and not asking for feedback from people of color, just doing it.
Yeah.
When you're in a bookstore and you have an opportunity to buy a hardcover book, don't buy the new Emily Henry. No offense, Emily Henry. Love you, girl. It's a pretty good book. But there's other authors that like what you're buying like it helps their next book deal. It shows that there is a desire for those books. So keep that in mind, honey. And yeah, just make sure like if you're keeping it 50-50, which is not a hard thing to do, then you'll pretty much never face a problem and you'll have no problem with plenty of books to recommend it.
Yeah. Okay, last question.
Yeah.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh my God.
Romance tropes.
Okay, which ones?
Whatever you want.
Okay. Marriage and Trouble.
Okay.
But I'm including like Before I Let Go in that.
That's the first thing I thought about. I was like, it's because Before I Let Go.
But also the Bergman Brothers one where it's the third one with the sister. Okay, so, but also, but like Second Chance. Okay, fuck Second Chance.
Okay.
Thinking the book I'm thinking of right now is The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest. Did you love that one?
Loved.
Oh my God, so good. The kind of marriage-ish of convenience, but it's really Second Chance.
Yeah.
Kill. This is gonna surprise people because this is not. Oh no, actually no. I'm gonna kill like toxic romance, like bully romance. Like I'm thinking of the third Anna Wong book. He was so mean, and everybody loves him.
Twisted Hate, I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Good thing you're already in therapy, because like that one, he was just so cruel to her. Why do you have to be so mean like that? So yeah,
I loved it.
He's so mean. He's so mean. I love the second one where she was a princess.
That was my least favorite one.
I love the bodyguard princess. If someone's like bodyguard princess, I'm like add to cart.
How interesting. That was my least favorite one.
It was the nicest one.
Yeah, I do. I do like toxic.
But you know what? You have range, and that's why you run a romance bookstore. You can help anyone.
Anyone
walks in, you're like, what's your kink? I mean, preference. What's your kink?
Yeah, and somebody was like, I love to be choked. What do you recommend? And I was like, never gotten that asked before, but let me think about it.
Here, just give me a second.
Yeah, and like early on, and this is where I realized that I've gotten so far away from like the things I really love doing from like this part of the business was like I used to keep a spreadsheet of like different things I read, different kinks or whatever. Like I would put it on a spreadsheet to see like where it showed up, and I like love doing that. And like Jess actually asked me for like a recommendation on something, and I'm like, actually, I have my spreadsheet from many moons ago that has some of that information.
That's really clever.
But I'm like, I want to get back to that. Like I want to get back.
Well, that'd also be really like good information to have for like you could sell that spreadsheet for $20.
Probably
like download PDF.
Here we go monetizing things. But
oh no, so true. I'm like everything's a business idea.
I know. Me and Becca, the owner of Meet Cute Bookshop, were talking about that the other day, and she was like, Mel, I need a hobby that I can't monetize. And I was like, I can help you here.
Do you have one?
I do not have one.
Mine is theater, but honestly, like I still become too obsessive over it. I become way too obsessed. I was like, this year I'm like, oh, let me go see all the Tony nominations. That's stupid. So I can have an opinion of which one's the best. Like I'm a Tony voter.
Yeah, So before you know it, it's gonna.
Before you know it, I'm gonna be a Tony voter.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. I don't. If drinking is not a hobby, then
it's not, queen. Unfortunately, it's not a hobby.
I don't have one. I don't think that's a hobby.
I don't think it's a hobby.
And you know what? Tev asked me this. He was like, Mel, what are your hobbies? And I was like, existing? I don't know. Reading? But reading like merges into work.
Reading something that isn't romance is probably pretty definitively your hobby, though.
I don't read anything that's not romance anymore, really.
So you're not very good at your hobby, but that would probably be what your hobby is.
Yeah, I guess so. Because certain books have come up that I'm like, oh, I used to love reading thrillers. Like, I should go back to that, you know? But No, I don't have a hobby, I don't think.
Reading romance now would probably be my hobby because Brittany and Jordan run the romance division at Bad Bitch Book Club. But as far as a hobby go, honestly, the first thing I'm thinking of is like, I've watched 2 seasons of Sex in the City this month. That has to count for something.
Aside from TV, like I'm watching The Last of Us. Is that a hobby? No, probably not.
Probably not.
I don't know. Maybe fishing will become my next thing.
Art's my hobby. I go to a lot of museums and galleries, and I go to the theater a lot, which still is a hobby. I've not yet monetized it, and also thankfully have no talent for acting or directing,
That's
so
good.
I can't possibly monetize it.
At some point, I would have said maybe concerts, but like I've also kind of slowed down on concerts because I just hate crowds. Yeah. So
I have pit seats to Beyonce, tickets to Beyonce in LA. That's gonna be so crowded.
That's gonna be wild.
It was not my choice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a great time, but it was not my choice.
You're gonna have a great time. It's fine.
I have gold cowboy boots. And
I
have to wear them through the airport to wear them in.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Anyway, where can people find you online?
Yeah.
Either you or Bad Bitch Book Club.
You can find us. You can find us at Bad Bitch Book Club on Instagram and Facebook. If you have a hard time finding the Facebook, you can just look through the links on Instagram. We're also on Patreon, which if you're interested in our retreats, our summer camp, stuff like that, you do have to be a Patreon member. There's also like hundreds of author interviews with like all the big name authors on there. By big name, I mean big name in our small niche community. If you have a favorite romance author, she's probably has an interview with us on Patreon. You can find me at Mac and Style, like back and style with an M, on TikTok, where I post my little outfits and what I'm reading and just like general stuff I like, my opinions that no one asked for, and also on Instagram. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Awesome.
Don't follow me on Threads. I just complain about my son and his eating habits. I love him. It's just his eating habits.
I had seen the peanut butter cracker thing and I was like, gosh, how do we get this boy to poop?
Girl.
Yeah. And then I saw the comments and some of them seemed helpful.
Some of them were helpful. And you know what? At first I was like, why is everyone telling me what to do? And I'm like, I asked. I
literally
straight up asked
for help. Yeah.
This is not unsolicited advice. This is just advice. But yeah, Mel, thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone so much for listening. I'm sure this was a pretty long episode. The two of us haven't seen each other in a long time. So we could yap forever. But thank you for all that you do for the romance community and for the book community. And the world is so lucky to have you. I love you so much. Thanks for having me.
I love you too. You can follow us on Romance Unleashed Pod on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We are on TikTok. We're on Spotify and Apple. I'm really bad at the ending. Like we should really just clip me in saying it one time.
Yeah, you should do that
and call it a day. But okay, thank you. Bye.